As I lay in my bed trying to sleep, all of a sudden I heard a voice. It said, "Don't let him in." I assumed it was my mom outside of the room talking to my dad, so I ignored it and tried to go back to sleep. But then the voice said it again, "Don't let him in." I sat up in bed wondering where the voice came from. Then I realized it was coming from my full-length mirror. I screamed and fell backwards onto my bed. My bedroom door had been closed, but now it was slightly open, and standing in front of my mirror was a man I didn't recognize. He looked like an old-fashioned gentleman with slicked-back hair, a white shirt, black trousers, and a black leather jacket. And he was smiling at me. I was too scared to say anything, so I just stared at him. Then he walked towards me. Still smiling, he reached out his hand and touched my cheek. His fingers were ice cold. I slapped him, and he disappeared. The next second, he was standing by the window, looking out into the night. I started to calm down a bit, but then he turned around and started walking towards me again. "Who are you?" I finally found my voice. "Why are you here?" He stopped walking and leaned against my wardrobe. "You know who I am," he said. "Of course I don't," I replied, hoping that he would leave soon. But instead he started to walk towards me again. "I'm your greatest fear," he said. "And don't you recognize me? We used to be best friends." I backed away from him, tripped over my rug, and fell onto the floor. He stood there watching me for a moment, then continued to walk towards me. As he got closer, I noticed that his face was pale white, like the face of a corpse. His eyes were black and soulless, and his lips were red and dripping with blood. Suddenly I remembered. I used to play with a boy when I was small. His name was William. We used to be best friends until one day he disappeared. My parents said that he probably moved away with his family, but I never forgot him. This man in front of me, this monster, was my old friend, William. He kept coming closer and closer. I tried to get away, but I couldn't. He was everywhere. I started to scream for help, but no sound came out. I was paralyzed with fear. He stopped right in front of me and said, "Do you still love me?" His voice was a raspy whisper. "I hate you," I managed to say. "You're a monster." He laughed, a terrible, ear-splitting laugh. Then he lunged at me, and I closed my eyes, waiting for the end. But it never came. When I opened my eyes, I saw my mom standing in front of me, holding a wooden stake. She was breathing heavily, her face pale and her eyes wide with fear and determination. She stabbed William with the stake, and he screamed, a long, drawn-out scream that echoed through my room. Then he started to melt, turning into a black liquid that oozed out of the corners of the room. As the last of the liquid drained away, William's body appeared on the floor in front of me. I rushed to him and turned him over. His face was no longer pale and lifeless. Instead, it was flushed with color and peaceful. He looked so young, like the William I used to know. I remember the day he disappeared. We were playing in the forest behind our houses, and William told me that he had a secret. He wanted to show me. He ran ahead of me, and I remember thinking how fast he was. Then he stopped and turned around. He had a big smile on his face. "Come on," he said, "it's just over this hill." I started to run, but suddenly he disappeared. I called out for him, but there was no reply. All I heard was the wind whispering through the trees. I never found William that day. Now he was gone again, and I knew that I would never see him again. I buried William in the garden. Next morning I went to tell my mom what had happened. She hugged me tightly. "You were never in danger," she said. "I was always here to protect you." She led me to the window. "Look," she said. There was a full-length mirror in front of us, and in it I could see William waving at me.